There's a whole lot of information out there for injured runners, but there's a bunch of stuff that they leave out. And that's what this video is about. We're going to talk about what they don't talk about when you're injured as a runner.
Finally waking up inside a void where I can hear the noise of someone similar to you.
So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 key bits of information that are commonly missed when people are talking about returning to running. If you're ready to return to running, then this might be the perfect video for you. If you've just injured yourself, then you might just want to Google tips for injured runners, because the info they've got's pretty good. This video will still be here in a couple of weeks when you're ready for it. So right now, I'm currently 4 weeks into a rebuild from an Achilles injury, and this is my second go at rebuilding, and that leads me to my first point. It might not work the first time. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons behind this. If you look at the most common tips, the first tip is always get treatment early. And even when we do that, tend to find that our physios want to try the least invasive treatments first. And then what happens is with those treatments, for them to work, often we have to be 100% onto the strength exercise. We have to be 100% onto everything, the stretching or whatever. And we have to do it meticulously. And let's be honest, we're busy people. We're probably working full time. There's a lot going on, and we may not be 100% into it the way a professional athlete might be. So what often happens is the first time it might actually fail. It's always worth trying a less invasive method of rehab, but it may not work the first time, so be prepared for that. So my example is I first went for treatment, got a strengthening program, and worked my way back into running for about 8 weeks. I got myself back to running 60 Ks in a week and running most days, but I was in incredible pain the whole time. So I realized it just wasn't worth it. So I went and saw more help, slightly different advice, and we went for a more invasive treatment and went for the shockwave treatment. I had a week off and I'm building again now, and I'm about 4 weeks in and things seem to be going a lot better than they were the first time. It's not to say that the advice that I got the first time was wrong. It's just that that treatment plan didn't work for me and my injury. It may not work the first time, so be prepared to listen to your body and pull the pin if it's not working and reset again. That's just something we've got to be aware of. A second key point that I think is really important is that you need to combine pieces of information. It's a really bad idea to just go off what one person says. Let's be clear, this is not go and Google and do your own research. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is knowing the purpose and the role of the person you're seeking advice from. For example, if you're injured, go and see a physio. Their job is to know muscles and how to heal them and how to get yourself back. That's their job. They know muscles really, really well. A podiatrist, on the other hand, knows feet really, really well. So if it's a foot injury, go and see a podiatrist. They know feet really, really well. But what those people don't know is running training and what it's like to be a runner. Often they will give terrible advice when it comes to returning to running. That's where a running coach comes in. So it's really important to be able to combine the information of the person who knows about your muscles with someone who actually knows a bit about running. Some absolute clanger pieces of advice that I've got from physios who I respect include only do workouts, to not do any of the easy running, do no easy running, and just do your workouts because they're the important part, and we'll just focus on hard running. Now, anyone who's done any sort of research into running training knows just how bad advice that is, because the potential for injury is so much higher when you're running faster. This physio had to ignore parts of his advice, and really because his suggestion for returning to running was to just run 5Ks. Many times as you want during the week, just run 5Ks in the first week. To put it in perspective as to why that's ridiculous advice, my brother and I both ran Sydney Marathon 2 years ago. Same race, same distance. I trained for it, he didn't, so I ran at quite a bit quicker than he did and we compared our step counts at the end. I'd done 39,000 steps. My brother, however, had done over 70,000 steps in that same marathon. What that tells us is that for any repetitive strain injury or any sort of injury like that, telling a person to go and run 5Ks, if that's me, that could mean a completely different thing and a completely different level of stress to somebody else who's running 5Ks. I might run my 5Ks in 4,000 steps. So that's 4,000 repetitions on that injured muscle or ligament. For somebody else though, it might be 8,000 repetitions. In the second week, yeah, you're doing well. Now just run 10Ks. So what he was saying was then in the second week, he was suggesting that I just double that mileage and go from 35 to 70Ks a week. I had to put the critical eye over it and go, well, no. My coaching head says that I need rest breaks in between and I really need to manage this slowly. So my approach was to focus on one milestone a week and really focus on using those milestones to then tick off, well, what's the next thing? That's really why you get a coach, because they can look at the information that physio is giving you and then match it to the knowledge of what effective training is. Point number 3. Pain-free running is a myth, especially when you're returning from injury. It is just not going to happen. What we need to do as runners is figure out what's good pain and what's bad pain. Most rehab programs include some sort of strength work because most muscular issues and even a lot of bone stress issues are caused by a muscular weakness. When we're increasing our strength training, we're going to end up with soreness. Now, we might not feel that soreness day to day when we're walking around, but then when we go to do our run for the first time, that's when we're probably going to feel that soreness. Because those muscles are getting stronger, you might experience pain around the area where you had your injury. In my example, my Achilles injury, I had to do a lot of calf strengthening. So what I've ended up with when I'm running is really sore calves around the Achilles. What I'm noticing though is that it's not the Achilles that's actually hurting, it's everything around it. The key there is to listen to your body really, really carefully and really try to pinpoint what is the pain point, what is actually hurting here. Is it the thing that I injured or is it the muscles around it? The other thing to remember too is you're going to be hyper aware that you just hurt yourself. So you're going to be thinking about it the whole time and you're going to be thinking about, oh, is that the pain? Is that the pain? Oh, is that the pain? And remember, when we run anyway, when we're training, we're hurting ourselves just a little bit anyway. Like running pain-free isn't necessarily a thing that always happens. It's just about listening to your body and understanding, well, what's good hurt and what's bad hurt. And if it's good hurt, then that's okay. We continue, we keep going. If it's bad hurt, we stop, we seek further advice. So with all of that in mind, here's how I approach the first 2 weeks of my rebuild. And for those who regularly follow along, here's my first 2 weeks of the rebuild recap. In week 1, I adapted my physio advice not to 5K. I was just going to go for 30 minutes because that's an easy run. And I decided that I was going to do 3 in the week. So 1 on Wednesday, 1 on Friday, and 1 on Sunday. And that's what I did. 30 minutes easy, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And a little bit less on the Sunday just because I met my family. Total of 15K for the week, minimal pain, and that was exciting for me because I could feel little bits here and there around it, muscles here, there and everywhere, but nothing in the ligament itself. So really, really good first week and feeling really on board with the shockwave. Week 2, like I said earlier, the physio advice was to then just run 10Ks every time I run. So like I say, he just wanted me to double my mileage, which I knew was a terrible idea. How I adapted that was I said to myself, all right, I want to test out to see if I can do 40 to 50 minutes. And I wanted to see if I could do consecutive days as well, because that's something that's really important to me, being able to run the next day. I like running a lot. I don't like having more rest days in my week than I have run days. So what that looked like was Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I went out and did 30 minutes. And then on Sunday, I set myself to go longer and aimed to go somewhere 40 to 50 odd minutes, depending on how I felt. And quite frankly, I felt good. So I ended up going for 52 minutes and a 25K total for the week. So first 2 weeks doing really, really well, and the rehab felt like it was working. That's an example of how you can use these pieces of advice to develop your own training program. But the big piece of advice would be get someone to have a look at your training for you and help you through that process so that they can look at it objectively for you. I hope you found that valuable. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow along, click subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.